Actually is not done by me. I'm just going to tell you a tiny bit about it. This is Michelle Schneeberger's table. She set it up for us in advance because she couldn't be here today, but she did tell me a few stories about some things. Last year was the first year she did a home Seder, and she just invited all of the children, which are all adults at this time, but she did have the benefit of a lovely grandbaby at the table, and they just had a lot of fun with the little frogs. Her grandson just took home all the little froggies, and she's got a little Moses on her Seder tray, which is just a cute thing. I can tell you that she uses these particular dishes. They're very special to her. Pastor Mark makes a joke about grandma's dishes. These really are Michelle's grandma's dishes. And so she uses them because it's special to her that they were her grandma's. These goblets came from her mom, so those are special for that reason. And I believe she said these are dollar store. So, and she is also using, this Haggadah is First Fruits of Zion. So there's lots and lots of choices that you can go through. And I know when she had it last year, she had everybody take turns reading portions of the book as well to keep them interactive so that they didn't get bored and they stayed engaged. This story, this is a bargain find that she got, this water pitcher, yard sale. Yeah. And her beautiful Elijah cup. I don't know the story behind it. This could be an Israel find. It kind of looks like it. So, and that's what I know about Michelle's table.
Hi, I'm Brenda, and this is my Seder table. And with coming to El Shaddai, I've learned just so much. Each year I add something different to my table, either a bit of knowledge or a bit of this or that. So I tried to make it as simple as possible. I take on most of the tasks myself. But as some of the other ladies have said, you try to get it interactive. We try to have guests in, either Christians or non-believers or whomever. We like to have a guest. I don't have an Elijah cup. I have a Kiddush cup. This is my newest. This was from my wedding. This is the cup of acceptance. So this will be for our first Passover that he and I will celebrate together with the kids and whoever will come. My daughter is probably the most receptive to all this. I've had a lot of different Seder trays. She got the original one, our family one, and I've bought different ones over the years, and you can spend all kinds of money and do all kinds of crazy things with those. But I've given them away, and so other people can learn and explore. She's gotten to the point now in the last number of years that she's done the candles blessing and put her shawl on. And I try to have the firstborn, whomever that may be, either my own firstborn or the firstborn in our guest in attendance, have them go around the table, wash, use the wash bowl and everything I have. And when I have little kids, I do the same thing I did back then. I go hide this and they have to go find it. So just to realize that there's, critters, they have to like it. I think the most daunting thing when I got started with having a Seder dinner was the Seder tray itself. What was its purpose? How do you make it? Where do you get the stuff? How do you pronounce all these things? It was a lot. And then if I'm passing Seder trays on and expecting other people to do it and not be daunted like I was, I need to help them out. So I came up with a kind of an acronym. This tray I have is just a big platter that matches the regular place settings and silverware and things that I have at home. But I have these clear bowls, and you can't see it now, but on the underside I take the acronym, which is Help Me Lord. And I put with a marker under each of the clear bowls so I can see it, literally, help me, and then L, the L is the lamb shank. So the H is, at the beginning, horseradish, the E is for the egg, the L is the lettuce part, the P is parsley, so that's the help, and then me, I mean it has other names, but for me it was helpful. For the me part, it's the mortar, and the E is for the eyes, that's for the tears, that's the salt water part. And then, like I said, the L is the Lord, that's the lamb shank. So that's all the components. that's easy for me to remember. You know, Menorah and all these other words that may be unfamiliar, well, you know what this is. So then you know that you have them all, what their purpose is after you come to that understanding. And so that was an easy way for us to do it. And then I give that to other people when I pass the tray off, and then they can go home and do what they need to do. When I have guests in, and I usually try, because like Pastor Mark teaches, taking Torah to the nations, you know, you want them to know and be active in it. I take the oldest person there and the youngest person there, and the oldest person gets the candle. The youngest person, like you've seen at some of our community seders, goes around and they find the sin and sweep it on and so on, and they take it out. I've never burnt mine, taken it out and burnt it. I've had this spoon for probably 10 years. You can get a feather at the crafts store, so, but I usually keep that the same. I'd love to have a Haggadah, and I probably will someday as I add the new things, but I just use this, which came from Pastor Mark's, our community seders. And we actually one year drugged the TV in and watched a casting and followed along with this whole thing. And we had people do, you know, some of the readings. And then I got a copy of the Amidah from the office. So that's what we do for ours. And it's wonderful. Just keep it as absolutely simple as possible. I try to make my food as much ahead of time, freeze it as possible, so I can enjoy it too. I'm not running around and getting all rushed. I actually get to sit down and eat with my guests and have a good time and bless them, so on. So that's mine.
Last year was the first time I had to do Passover at my house, and literally the day of Passover, like before, you know, sunset, it was dropped on me that I have to do Passover at home, and the Lord is like, you will do it. And I'm like, okay. So I scurried and literally woke up early, about 10 o'clock is kind of early for me. I'm a stay-at-home mom, so I ran to the store and started buying stuff, and literally, like, this table probably didn't cost any more than like 30 bucks. So I just 97 cents for the table cover. I went with the sand color because the desert in Egypt. I have kids, so everything we do is geared towards getting them more involved. So the week leading up to Passover, we do a lot of school projects dealing with Passover. A lot of our history is covering Egypt or the Israelites during that time. And then we have fun little projects that we do. The last year we made paper pyramids, printed it out, and just I had gold paper, and I was like, that works. I got this from Joann's, and this represents Goshen because it's still green. And the bugs, Walmart, it was like maybe $2, if even that. And I call this the Haggadah table. We don't eat at this table. It's all about the storytelling. And everybody gets to pick the character they want to be. And my kids, they participate. They read along. I didn't have a Passover Seder book or anything like that, so we just took the Bible and started reading the Exodus. And the kids really got involved. Whenever a plague came up, we would wave the sign, and then one of the kids would grab one of the things that represented the plagues. Last year, for the blood turning into water, we just got kosher Jello, red Jello, and set a bowl on the side of the table, and everybody got to eat off of that. I was like, but just remember, they didn't eat it or drink it in the story. But this cool project, we actually did this for our Joseph's, one of the stories in Joseph when we were reading the Torah portions, and we incorporated it into the table. So everything that we do is just projects that we do throughout the year. If it fits the Passover, we'll just bring it to the table, and everybody has fun. They feel more involved. The kids can touch everything. For darkness, you can do sunglasses. Last year we just turned off the lights and just went, woo! Boils, we also did washable markers. And we just colored ourselves with red markers. Whoever, I was the character with the boils, so for the kids. And this year, just because they had them, I added some new things for the kids to play with so they could just play with some Seder stuff. Frogs, I love the jumping frogs. For the hail, I used the rocks. You get these, I got them from Joanne, and it's a mixture of colors of red and clear and like a cloudy white to represent the fire and hail in the story. So, and then we just kind of toss it for the kids. And on the table, of course, not at the kids.
Thanks for clarifying that.
But our story kind of takes form of Purim, with the whole, you know, yelling out loud, and, you know, one character will say, you know, let my people go, and Pharaoh's like, no! So it gets really loud in my house. But that's pretty much it. I mean, this literally, it took me the day of to put it together. So it wasn't anything fancy. The kids loved it. They said it was the best Passover they've had since we started celebrating Passover. And it's very memorable. And they can tell you stories out of the Exodus because they have this memory, a tangible memory.
Hello, my name is Chinese Ballinger, and this is my Seder table. To begin with, I wanted to let you know I too did not spend a lot of money in setting up my table. The most expensive thing that I bought was new silverware. You have to have nice silverware. My tablecloth is actually a curtain that my mother made. And so when she had to move out of her home, I got her curtains, and I decided to use this to fit my table because it's the same size. And as you see on my table, I have these blue chargers. I too am a fan of dollar store. So I bought these and I took them home and I spray painted them. And my glass is also from dollar store. My plates I got at IKEA. I love these. They're classic, and I decided to go all white because I can change the glasses and the chargers anytime I want. My little saltwater cups I got from Cash and Carry, which is an excellent place to go to get, you know, things that you're needing. Don't want to spend a lot of money. My plate I ordered from the Judaica website. And I love Pinterest. So I noticed that some of the ladies were using boxes for their matzah bread, and I like that idea. So it's sitting upright, giving your table more room. So I went to Artco and I bought this pretty little wooden box. So I will save that and use it every year for Passover. I wanted it to be interactive and fun, so I bought ping pong balls to represent the hail, ketchup for the water, stickers for boils on people, and just made it fun and interactive for them. Yeah, so this is my table.
I'm Vonnie, and this is my Seder table. This is a lot like what I did last year, which is the first one I hosted at my house with my children. And it was really interesting. The Lord told me to do one. And then he said, the next morning he said, invite your kids. And I did, and they came, which was a miracle. So I'm just using I love blue and white. I've always loved blue and white. And some of the things at my table were my mom's, like this plate here, this bowl for the washing, and the pitcher. So I love to have that kind of thing to remind me of her. I got my Minch. Last year I used the ones from the office, the ones they did, and it was a lot of detail because I didn't want to mess it up, so I did the whole thing. But this year I'm going to shorten it up a little bit. And my Eliyahu cup is this is from my Havdalah set. So, and he's the one that gets the old Haggadah that's a lot in Hebrew, since he knows Hebrew really well. And I'm going to invite my son Nathan's friend Elijah, so I'm going to have Eliyahu at my table. And the candles on I did individual plates last year. for all the things we were going through. I forgot my little saltwater things. And this year, this is just something the Lord dropped on my heart last night when I was thinking about the plagues and the darkness. But the children of Israel have light in their dwellings. So I said, I'm going to have a light for each person, and we'll light a candle, and we'll talk about that, and then I can talk about the Lord being a light to us. And so that's pretty much it.
I'm Marita, and this is our Seder table. And this year will be our second time doing a Seder. We've been to many, and I've admired them, and I was encouraged last year by El Shaddai said, we're not going to do one, so you got to get out there and try it. I thought, oh. So we invited our best friends over and experimented on them. So I like spring. It's a natural time to incorporate all those colors. Like Susie said, I like a lot of colors. So I go to the dollar store a lot, and these mats are just spring dollar stores. Because the world is celebrating a spring festival that I'm not, everything is in all those amazing colors. So I have my little candles here are sentimental. My mother-in-law, who's, I'll see again one day, made these little things for me. So in some pottery class, so I use them because they remind me of her. So I want to incorporate that. Pretty much everything is the same as everybody else has. I copied ideas, but we always do this is my honored guest tag, so people know where they're sitting. So whomever that is, that day it'll have their name. But I'm going to get one of those little stands I see like over there. Tulips are my favorite flowers. And this is the most expensive thing on my table, my Afikoman bag. So don't touch it. It's over there again on a tray that my mother-in-law, my late mother-in-law, gave me. My napkins, and you'll see them when you come up here, but they're just paper napkins because, like Susie said, that's simple. And I like color, so this is the time to go to the party store or the dollar store and get something colorful. This is my tzedakah box that we use for Shabbat dinner. So at our Seder, I talk about it or something. I talk a lot. I talk about that, but we don't ask our guests to give anything, but we just incorporate that in all of our meals, remembering to give back. I wanted to say, where's my husband? Here he is. So our Haggadah are from First Fruits of Zion, and I bought them in bulk, so I have a whole passel of them. But I spent a little bit on them, not a lot, but I spent a little bit on them, but I think I'll use it forever. So it was a good investment. But something that we do that we thought was a little different, when we're telling the story, we have everybody at the table participate. So I'll go through in my husband's book and put people's names by different verses or something, and then when it comes to that point, he'll invite them. He'll say, okay, Susie, would you like to read the next scripture? And so people stay engaged and participate, and because we have people who are Gentile believers in Jesus at our table, it reminds them that this is for them as well. I admire lots of people's water dishes, but I have a bowl I got from Dollar Store, plastic, and then a towel I got from Dollar Store. So we're going to get something fancy when we go to Israel. And then we have a Miriam glass, and I got the Dollar Store, and I made this myself, trying to pretend I'm crafty. So I painted and everything. And we like the Miriam cup. It has a feminist connotation that I don't personally share, but I like that it symbolizes water. So we fill it up with water at the end, and Yeshua is our living water. And the Miriam's well, and when she comes through, she's the one that engages in the party and the dance and starts that up. I like that. So we have a Miriam glass for that reason, not for the feminist reason, but to remember the living water. So that's something that we do that's a little bit different. And then I have, I'm almost done. I have all my little cups and bowls for the individual servings of haroset and all of that. Dollar Store. Almost everything. Dollar Store and Fred Meyer, my other store. They're right next door to each other. Back and forth. So there's that, and then I can't think of anything else. And yeah. Okay, that's it. That's all. Thank you very much.
My name is Susie, and we've been doing Shabbat dinner and Passover for about 7 years. Passover, I think, honestly, we've only done three or so in our home. And I haven't collected much. A lot of the stuff that I have for Passover, I also use for my Shabbat dinner as well. As you can tell, I like lots of color. If you ever come into my house, I have color everywhere. So I got, like Verna said, I got these beautiful wine glasses at Marshall's. I'm really simple. I learned a long time ago that if I don't keep it simple, then I get burned out and I don't want to do it at all. So even for my Shabbat dinners, Passover, whatever the feasts or whatever we're hosting, I use paper plates usually. I got these pretty paper plates, tons of them at Costco. These are actually the ones I used last year. And we found inexpensive kosher wine at Trader Joe's. They have lots of that. And I do have a goal this year to make homemade matzah. I didn't get it done today, but you can buy little rollers that'll put the holes in them and stuff online for about $20. So we ordered that this year and are going to do that. And our Haggadah that we use, this is a free one you can download on your computer from Jonathan Burness's website, Jewish Voice. And we use that. It's Messianic. It's really simple. It tells you every step you need to take, and we have used that the last 3 times and everybody loved it. It was really beautiful. I normally have an Elijah table, just a little one set aside. I didn't do that today, but I just made the little sign that says Eliyahu and his wine glass. But I usually do set a little table for him in case he knocks on the door and comes back to our Passover Seder. I figure that'll happen some year. But my goal is, like I said, I did order my Seder Tray online. You can get a whole variety online, and I think we sell them here too at the office for really inexpensive. We are going to Israel this year, so I do have to say that is my goal, is to collect. I already have a list of I'm going to get, you know, a hamantashen bag and better candlesticks and nicer things for our Passover table, because I really haven't collected much of that. But anyways, like I said, I keep it simple. I have everybody bring a dish. I make some soup and do a main dish, and then everybody joins in and participates, and it's really simple.
To my table. The first one I did was last year for our Bible study, and I had a lot of fun preparing it. And it looks elaborate, but I tell you, I shop at all the discount stores, okay? So my place settings got years ago at Mervyn's when they were going out of the store, and I got 24 place setting for $35. So that made life easy. I go to the stores and, you know, get the little bowls. They were discounted. Oh, this one says, with God, all things are possible. So I'll probably put extra horseradish in that. This one says, always count on your blessings, and I'll have mint jelly in that for the, and then my lovely friend Willa made these wonderful napkins for me. And this right here is just a hair bow, or hair tie, whatever you call them. I got the menorah at the Bed Bath & Beyond. You get it when it's discounted. The candles I got off season, they were half off. So the blue glasses, dollar store, makes it easy. Puts a bling on the table. These 2 items here, I did have to go through the internet, and I had to pay for them, so I broke down and did that. But the candlesticks and the salt and pepper shakers were given to me years ago, and so I just keep my eyes open when I'm shopping. And for the hand washing, dollar store basket at one of the discount stores, $5-6. Then I go to Costco and I buy their 24-pack wash rags, and this is what they use for their hand towels. So at our dinner we leave the table in line and go to the sink and actually wash our hands, and then they have actually a washcloth to dry their hands, and then they just stick it in the basket. So that makes it simple and easy for us, and I'm just excited to have our next meal this year, and everybody had a wonderful time, and that's what it's all about.
Okay, well, I'm Tina Falstead, and this is my table. So the special thing, the first special thing about my table that's different is that my house, my husband is the one that does the table. Can be done, you guys. So he actually came in and set this table up this week. He He just loves Passover. I think it's probably his favorite holiday of the year. He does everything. He cleans out the leaven in the house. He does all of that. It's incredible. It's just, I mean, we tag team, of course, but that's his gig. He cleans up, sets the table, and he just has a lot of fun. We have the good old cheap dollar store bugs. You know, I think when we bought them, we were able to get a big bag of them at the Dollar Tree or something. All kinds of little critters, even things that weren't really in the plagues. We too keep it very simple. I learned a long time ago, just like Susie, that if I'm not careful, I will put myself in the grave. And by the time the guests show up, I'm not very much fun to be around. So we keep it very simple. We always have the main stuff is disposable. You can do whatever you like. Last year we just did white with silver, you know, had just fun little matching napkins, but you can do whatever you like. We change it slightly each year. And our hand washing stuff, this actually we borrowed from the office because we left ours at home when we but we just have a clear glass pitcher with a salad bowl, a clear glass crystal bowl that we use for hand washing. Nothing fancy. Even the silverware, it's not real, it's just disposable, because I want to have fun, you know, because I'll do all the cooking, but I do like Susie as well. I will provide all the main dish stuff, and then I just assign sides for people to bring. And your guests are happy to participate. They really want to show off a recipe, so just ask them and let them. Our tray, I really like this look, so that's what we've got. My little Elijah cup. This is probably what I've spent the most on, and it wasn't very expensive, actually. I think I found it on Amazon for like $15 or something, you know, not bad at all. And I just really, this is my favorite pattern. I really like it a lot. We haven't had kids at the table for a while, but we do have the little feather and spoon as well, where you can go through and pretend to sweep. Even if we don't have kids, Mark usually tells the significance of it, just for instruction. Something fun that we used to do when the kids were younger, when we started doing Passover, the kids were more early teens, so they weren't super interested in finding the hidden matzahs. But what we did to represent this leaven is my husband went to the dollar store and he got a bag of pretty feathers, and he got pens, and he got little individual notebooks. And we each took a feather and, you know, hot glued it to a pen. And so for the time leading up for, I think we did for a week. No, I don't remember exactly. It might not have been a full week, but we focused on examining ourselves. And so these were our private notebooks, and we would just examine ourselves before the Lord, and we would write down whatever leaven we felt the Lord had brought to our mind. And at the end of that time, we wrapped them in linen and we burned them in the fireplace. And that was our representation. And it was meaningful. They were private. We didn't look in the kids' books. It was them and God. And if you do it, please honor that, or they won't want to do it again. But it was just a time of putting the practical step to, you know, observing and seeing what you could do. Every year we add a fun little thing, and so this is our fun thing this year. I usually have stuffed frogs laying around the house too, but this is our new little lamb we found last night after Sabbath was over, not before. But so this is my new little lamb. This is our Passover lamb on the table. And let's see, our candlesticks they're our Shabbat candlesticks. Can you tell I'm married to a carpenter? We have a lot of olive wood stuff for our Sabbath set. And we just incorporate some fun stuff, you know, because my kids are adults technically, but we're still kids, you know. We want to have fun too. So that's really about it. So that's my Seder table.